All right, so... Oh.
Sorry.
Lights, camera, action. Okay, so you'll notice on this brain there are regions of the brain that are kind of puffed out more than others. If you run your fingers over them, like you can feel them coming up off the brain. Those are called gyrus. That's the plural version, and one of them would be a gyri. Is that not how you say it? You say gyrus?
Yeah.
Oh, I say gyrus. Yeah. I say gyrus. You say gyrus? Potato.
Tomato,
okay.
potato.
Look, we brought you a longer stick and you're using it.
And Jimmy brought a stick. Okay, here we go. So this
much better
so
quality.
All right.
Much better quality.
On the other side of the gyrus are the solstices. So these are like gonna be like the wrinkles in the brain. So sometimes there's like these blood vessels that are running inside of them. So that helps me identify them sometimes. Okay, so the cerebrum itself is gonna be this part right here, the majority of the brain. So it's divided into lobes. You got the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, on the back, the occipital lobe, and then on both sides, temporal. Okay, where's my good brain with the olfactory bulb? Okay. Okay, so the olfactory bulb, you can also call that the olfactory nerve. It's gonna be right here. They kind of look like bunny ears, like this one got ripped off, but you can still kind of see the track there. But the very end of this is gonna be the olfactory nerve, and coming down from that is the olfactory tract, okay? The optic nerve, there's one on either side, so left and right, and it's gonna come down and make this X right here. That's the optic chiasma. Actually, this brain, this is the optic chiasma, and if I lift up this piece of mater, you can actually see where they meet right there, which is the optic chiasma. Now on either side of that, this is where they cross, which is why it's called chiasma, and that means X. On either side of that is going to be the optic tract, and there's a left side and a right side. Okay. This one right here, that hole right there is the opening to the third ventricle. You cannot see that in brains that have the pituitary gland that's still stuck on them. So like, that's the pituitary gland. If you were to rip off that whole structure, underneath it, it would look just like this. So you could see the opening to the third ventricle. So I think on your paper it says present only if pituitary is missing. So you gotta rip that off to see it. So let's see, right below that, I'm not gonna show you the hypothalamus right now. I'll show you that when we get to the thalamus. But past that is the mammillary body, which is right below the opening to the third ventricle. So that area right there, technically the hypothalamus is gonna be this whole region right here. In your book, I think it has like a circle with a dotted line around it. All right, okay, so we're ready for the midbrain. This one's the best midbrain. Too many brains, okay. Okay, so if I pull this, I pull the cerebellum down, you're gonna see something that looks like a little booty. Looks like a booty. So there's gonna be the top part of the booty and the bottom part of the booty. The top part of the booty are called the superior colliculi. And the bottom part is the inferior colliculi. All four of these together are called the corpora quadrigimina, or the tectum of the midbrain. Tectum is going to be the roof of the midbrain, so it makes up the top of the midbrain. So superior colliculi, inferior colliculi, all four of them, corpora quadrigimina, quad meaning four, and this whole structure is going to be the tectum of the midbrain, or the roof of the midbrain. Okay. So flip over here to the brainstem. If we go down here past the mammillary body, this first hump is going to be your pons varioli, and below that, this whole region right here is the medulla oblongata. The first half of the medulla oblongata is going to be your trapezoid body, so this right in here, and the other last half of that is going to be your pyramids. They literally just call it pyramids, but all of this is medulla oblongata. So top half, trapezoid, bottom half, pyramids. And then your spinal cord is right here. Bless you. So I stuck my probe right there in the spinal duct. That's where the cerebrospinal fluid is gonna flow, and it's gonna go through there. And the opening to the third ventricle, that's one of the main parts of the duct system of the cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, let's see where we're at. All right, cerebellum. You can see the cerebellum really well here. So it's this part right here, the second largest part of the brain. Inside of it, this is a beautiful cut right here. You can clearly see this is arbor vitae, or the tree of life, inside there. So that's the main structure of the cerebellum, we would want you to know. Let's see. All right, so for a transverse section of the brain, a couple of things that you need to see. The first one, this giant hole in here, this is called the lateral ventricle. That's another part. That's another part of the cerebrospinal fluid system. So that's just like another place where it stores up. There's a thick band of neurons right above this. This is called the corpus callosum. And the part right below that, it's called the fornix. So corpus callosum, lateral ventricle, and then fornix is right here. You see this circular structure right here? Like if I put the pen right in the middle of it, that's the thalamus. And right down below that is the hypothalamus. So if I was gonna pin the hypothalamus, I would probably pin it right there.
What's that little thing?
Technically, that would be part of the mammillary body, but all of that is gonna be the hypothalamus. So, thalamus, this region is the hypothalamus. You can see it on this cut too as well, hypothalamus. All right, if you were to look from this view, you'd see half of the corpora quadrigemina. You only see one superior and one inferior colliculi. You can also see the pineal gland very well here. It's like a little beam that's on top of the superior colliculus. You can also see it on top of the superior colliculus in this view. That's the pineal gland. Okay, let's see, what am I missing? Okay, so if this is the roof of the midbrain, the floor of the midbrain is right here. That's called the tegmentum of the midbrain. So this is the tectum of the midbrain, which has the superior and inferior colliculus, corpora quadrigemina, all of that business. And you've got the roof of the midbrain here. And then this would be pons, medulla oblongata, spinal cord. And I think I've got everything except for the motors, the coverings. So this is going to be the dura mater, which is the tough outer covering. Like I could really pull on that. Like I'm pulling, and now I'm just finally getting it to tear. It's really tough. And then the pia mater, you could literally, it just pulls off like saran wrap. So it's like shrink coating, like the whole brain. I think that's it.